Good day, and thank you for joining us for this training session of the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. The topic for this session is the Florida Clean Vessel Act program. Our presenter is Brenda Leonard, Program Administrator for the state's Clean Marina program, which is located under the DEP's Office of Sustainable Initiatives. So we will now turn to the presentation. Brenda?
Thank you. I'm going to present today the Florida Clean Vessel Act program. It is a grant program for pump outs. This is the universal pump out logo. As it states, it's universal all over the world. When you see this logo, it is the symbol that a pump out station is available to pump out your boat holding tank. The Clean Vessel Act was initiated in 1992. It provides financial aid to states for pump out and dump stations so they can in turn develop contracts to give the money to marinas for pump out units. And it also provides educational information for boaters. In 1994, Florida developed their own Clean Vessel Act statute, and that is Statute 327.53, and is titled Marine Sanitation. So since 1994, in the state of Florida, boaters are prohibited from discharging raw sewage into fresh water or within coastal saltwater limits. And those limits are 9 nautical miles in the Gulf and 3 nautical miles off the Atlantic. This means that raw and treated discharge is prohibited in no discharge zones throughout Florida. Our no discharge zones in our state are located in Destin Harbor, that is in the Panhandle, and also in the city of Key West, and also the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. In these waters, all vessels must have a holding tank and pump out. Our Florida statute also says that all vessels, while on Florida's waters, which is the 9 miles in the Gulf and 3 miles off the Atlantic, they have to set their Y valves to prevent discharge of raw sewage into the water. The Y valve would be connected to your toilet into the holding tank, and the other part of the Y valve is connected for raw discharge. So you're required to have your valve in the location that prevents raw discharge, and it must go into the holding tank. All vessels other than a houseboat are required to have a portable toilet, and it may or may not be permanently installed. Vessels 26 feet or more in length are required to have these toilets. If they're smaller, you're not required to have a toilet, but you could, and we highly recommend it. For each permanently installed toilet on your vessel, it's to be attached to the appropriate U.S. Coast Guard approved marine sanitation device. There are 3 types, type 1, 2, and 3. I'll talk about those marine sanitation devices in a couple more slides. The Florida Clean Vessel Act program, it provides funding to owners of marina and recreational boating sites for pump outs. It's federally funded through grants made possible by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service through their Sport Fish Restoration Program. We get additional funding through the Florida Inland Navigation District. The grant recipient provides a portion of the state match, and DEP provides a portion of the state match. You can apply for grants for pump outs, for stationary units, mobile units, pump out boats. You can replace an old pump out. You can repair or maintain your pump out. We also fund operations of the pump out, and any hauling costs that may be needed should you live in an area where there's no sewage services available. The Clean Vessel Act covers 75% of the costs, and the grant recipient would provide 25%. Boaters pay taxes, excise taxes, from fishing tackle and marine fuel. These taxes are collected and then given back to the states for marinas to install pump outs to service the very boaters that are paying these taxes. To qualify, the facility must be a registered business. So if you want to install a pump out facility at your marina, you must be a real business. You need to offer the services to the public. If you're a private club, that's fine, but you need to tell us that these services are available to the public. 25% of the approved costs must be provided by the marina, who's the grant recipient. 75% of the costs will be reimbursed by our grant program. For 5 years following your installation of your pump out equipment, you would report to the DEP the activity, such as how many pump outs you've done, many fees you've collected, and that in turn is reported to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. We encourage you to offer free pump outs, but for 5 years, no more than $5 is allowed to be charged per pump out. After 5 years, you own the equipment, and of course you can raise the price, but we still encourage free pump outs. Resources are available online to apply. The grant reporting form is also available online, and the grant recipient just fills it out each quarter and submits it by email. Here are some types of pump outs. The one on the right top is a stationary unit. It's a vacuum unit. The top left is a peristaltic. The bottom left is a pump out vessel. The vessel can come to you in the waterway. The bottom right is a portable. This can also come to you at the slip. Here's an example of pump out vessels in action. This is from Martin County. They provide services countywide. They come to the boater, and they offer services at no charge. Here's another example. This is in the city of Hallandale Beach, and it's newly constructed. So you can see the signage. They've got it well marked. They've provided some instructions. Here's another example. This is a portable unit. The portable unit collects the sewage, and then on the right top you can see the holding tank. It is then put into the holding tank, and a truck comes regularly and picks it up and hauls it away. So far, our program has installed 543 pump outs, and we currently have 55 more in process. We've collected and reported to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife over 17 million gallons of sewage. So a marine sanitation device, it must be Coast Guard approved. It's equipment that is installed on your vessel. It's not a toilet, but it's designed to receive, retain, or treat sewage and then send it overboard or hold it in a tank. Type 1 is a free flow system. Kind of looks like a battery, but the waste flows through this system, and heat and chemicals treat it, and then it's discharged overboard as clean. These are allowed in state waters if you are not in a no discharge zone. If you are in a no discharge zone, you must collect it in a holding tank and use a pump out. So this type 1 is for vessels up to 65 feet. If you have a vessel over 65 feet long, you would get a type 2. It's basically the same thing as a type 1, it's just for larger vessels. It's a free flow system. It treats the waste, and sends it overboard as clean. Again, this would not be allowed in a no discharge zone. In the no discharge zones, you would use a type 3, which is a holding tank connected to the Y valve, and it holds the sewage, prevents the direct overboard discharge. You can use disinfectants and deodorizers. Those are typically allowed at wastewater treatment plants. So who enforces these pump outs? The pump out MSDs are regulated by the Coast Guard. So the Coast Guard has jurisdiction. They can board the vessels and they do inspect. In Florida waters, we also have Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and they're constantly monitoring our waters, and they may stop you just like if you were on the highway. And they may board your vessel and inspect to see where your holding tank is and is your Y valve connected. Local sheriff's offices may also do exercises. So Florida marinas with pump outs, we have them mapped, and our goal is to install pump out facilities in all counties that have navigable waterways. So there are plenty of pump out facilities available for our boaters, so the boaters can help partner with us to help keep our waters clean. Our Clean Vessel Act program is designed to help our boaters locate pump outs, use them, and to learn why it's very important to pump out. So let's all pitch in and pump out, and don't discharge your raw sewage into our treasured water bodies. Here's the program contact. That's me. I'm the program administrator for a Clean Vessel Act program. It's under our Clean Marina program. And here's my contact information. Should you want more information about our program, if you'd like to apply for a grant, give me a call. And I thank you.
Very good, and thanks to all for being here for this session. Slides for the session are available on the website, and we welcome you to attend related online sessions, also now available through the Florida Department of Environmental Protection Office of Sustainable Initiatives. Again, thanks for attending, and good day.